you know.
Heat back. We're going into Battlefield of Eternity. Brave pick here from BlossoM against Gen.G. Let's see if they can, as we see Gen.G ban Cursed Hall back towards the normal pattern. Let's see if BlossoM can understand the Hanzo pick that almost no team at Mid-Season Brawl denied against Gen.G. They went Hanzo, Hanzo, Hanzo every time they got this map. They annihilated Hanzo Li Ming. It is textbook Gen.G. You have to draft against that. You have to be prepared for that, or you're going to get demolished. And I hope that BlossoM has been paying attention, because most of the teams in Mid-Season Brawl just simply were not ready for Gen.G's style on this map. They're the best team in the world at this map. You have to be ready. They pick it against Gen.G, so I am hoping that they come with a solid draft here. I'm hoping I see that Hanzo locked in first pick, if not banned.
Hanzo, Genji, Li Ming. Those three picks are always on top for Gen.G. And BlossoM, I would like to see some Gondar DPS. That's something new that we have never seen in competitive before.
That's right. Look, if BlossoM goes first pick Malfurion here,
oh, no,
I am already just gonna say the game is over. Like, I will make the statement that I do not think they can win with whatever else they make, and then we'll revisit it when the draft is completed. But I'm calling it right now. Malfurion first pick is going to struggle. Gen.G will get the Hanzo. You have to draft around that on this battleground. You cannot let that go. And also actually doesn't have first pick because they chose the map, so they won't be able to first pick it away. But if they don't ban it, they allow it to go through, they go for just the Malfurion second rotation, I think Gen.G is going to have all the advantages.
That's true. And also because of that, Tracer may be just allowed. And Tracer just goes through the draft along with Tassadar. That could also happen, very likely, from Gen.G. Because they excel so much in the hero pool, they already go into a heavy advantage in the draft all the time.
Alarak was picked up Mid-Season Brawl by them.
Yes, on BOE.
Yeah, they just have such a great hero pool.
Here we go.
It's time. Meriday's return to pro play against his former team. Gen.G will ban the Genji. They want the Hanzo first pick. Will BlossoM give it? I feel it would be a mistake many teams have made.
You can actually give Garrosh and just take the Johanna with it on your rotation. That is also possible. Depends on what you want to focus on before the second ban happens. They're gonna go straight in and snipe that Tracer out.
Let's see. I mean, this isn't rocket science, right? Gen.G has drafted Hanzo in first rotation every time. Meriday lets out a chuckle. They expected this. He will be playing the Malfurion, a hero he was never really known for. Remember, during Meriday's era, for most of the time, Malfurion was not meta, and Twilight Dream was just simply that, a dream. But wanted to see it in professional play, it was not played. And this is now to protect the Hanzo comp. Sake has played so much Kharazim. His Kharazim is his best support right now. And already, this looks like Mid-Season Brawl. Protect the Hanzo, do the damage. You've got to ban the Li Ming here, I think. You just simply have to. Or history will repeat itself.
Or maybe they want to target the solo with the Sonya, or maybe potentially the Haka as well, because they already have Kharazim along with Hanzo. Maybe they just think Kharazim late game is enough of a damage, so you don't really need the Sonya as well. I was actually expecting BlossoM to steal that Kharazim away because Sake has been playing that so much.
And obviously it's Meriday's most historically famous hero. He and Bakery, two best Kharazims in the world back in 2016, and for a decent part of 2017 as well. It will take away the Leoric pick, so going into the Soul Lane choke you mentioned, leaving the Li Ming open, they may simply steal it away themselves. That would give them poke potential, but not race potential. So we'll still have to look for picks, they will still have to play around the Li Ming, and have to expect that it won't be Gondar playing the Li Ming, but rather Modern Life for BlossoM, given the hero pools and historic past of these two squads.
But that's because we just have lack of understanding of what Gondar can actually do. And most of the information that Gen.G actually has right now for BlossoM will be based on scrims a little bit, and that's it. Nothing else, no competitive data on Gondar yet.
Li Ming is removed. they have two choices now. Look for a burst comp, try to break through. Very difficult to utilize against a Tyrael pick with Kharazim. Or they can look for another type of race. We've seen teams try and fail with the Volley Q build against the Hanzo. We've also seen occasionally the Greymane return to play. Not the buffed Greymane that just came, just got announced with the PTR patch. Just talking about, of course, the RL patch Greymane. So not the strongest, most viable option, but it's a tough choice here for BlossoM. And it feels like this was predictable. It feels like this was the outcome we expected.
They chose the map too, so they have to be something else. Maybe Maiev? Or some Wombo combo along with the Twilight Dream? Diablo? Okay. It is going to be something that pairs up really well. But on this map, Maiev is really not the most favored hero because you can't really hide off to the side because you do have some blind spot, but it's going to be spotted easily because there's Hanzo already with the Sonic Arrow all the time.
When you think about what BlossoM could have done, first of all, they don't have the Stukov because they went for the Malfurion pick. When you think about things that counter Maiev's Warden Cage and things that were left open, Gen.G was just already one step ahead. They picked the Tyrael in second rotation before the second ban phase.
Yes.
They expected this was a high possibility outcome. And I think the most obvious final choice for BlossoM is going to be the Jaina.
Yes.
Gen.G now knows that and has to figure out how they want to support this. Do they want a strong bully solo lane, or do they want one that has more protection? That the Haka can at least prevent a lot of the setups that BlossoM is looking for if used correctly. And they want a DPS that's a little bit tankier, probably. It's going to be the Sonya and Falstad. So
the Falstad.
Just for disengage, they're just saying the only way we lose this is your burst, and I'm going to have the disengage here. We have the sanctification drop on top of the cage.
They also do have the perfect roster for it. It is amazing what they can actually do with the reset being amazing on the Falstad. We did see some great gusts even in MSP, and having the global control on this map does actually work if you're super on top of all the macro, which was always possible even from Sokka's Falstad back in 2017.
Well, G-Clef, I think we had a big question is I can't believe they chose this map. Have they figured out Gen.G's drafting? Have they solved it?
This was expected from everyone.
It's so predictable. And I think we have an answer. They didn't have a plan. They didn't have an idea. And this draft is total flex. Lunara, complete anti-synergy with the rest of their entire draft. Slow range damage versus a better racing comp. How will you ever invade their side to steal the Immortals? How will you engage? How does Lunara synergize with a Warden's Cage? This composition is disjointed, and it does not have a theme. It's going to have to be big plays from Gondar on the Maiev, his first time ever in his career, and Honkono on Diablo, never known for the hero, back when he was a main tank player for Tempest, back when he was a main tank player for Miracle, never a Diablo player. When you look at these two drafts, you look at the history of the teams, the players on them, you've got to look at Gen.G and say, this looks like we're putting a 1 on the scoreboard.
I do follow you, Wolf. Last pick, not Gilly. Lunara does not synergize with anything. And Gondar is going to be on Maiev, so their DPS not really having the best time, of course. Modern on that Lunara did not happen too many times.
Yeah, it's Squawk. It's going to be a rough time. Let's see how this draft plays out. Based on facial expressions as well, I don't like to make draft analysis on facial expression alone, but based on the length of time required to make these flex picks, it looked like this was never plan B or even C. It was just what's available, what can we do, it has consistent damage. They're going to have to play for the late game with this. Again, best team in the world on BOE, 1 loss in 2018 HGC for the map for Gen.G. That was against Tempest when they did that composition with Judgment.
Oh yes.
Against Lucio. The only loss on the map this year. In worldwide as well.
Well, this is actually not too bad for BlossoM. They do have range with Lunara as well, so they could also do damage. But they have to get more because they have a 4-man down here. But wave clear not too bad with Tyrael.
Yeah, Tyrael makes this bad matchup in the 4-man a little bit easier. Well, this is a map where the objective is the most important thing. So BlossoM is utilizing their comp very well. They are being aggressive, but look at this lane swap. Reset comes top. And because of the Tyrael shields, what they've been able to accomplish is actually about the same, actually even a little bit less in this 4v3 lane, because Tyrael shields makes it so difficult to push through. Lunara doesn't have her Nature's Culling yet, so it's a little bit tougher to push forward with this. And look at the timing of these shields, just slowing down the push. Sure, they're getting damage done, but this lane swap not only allows them to get a cannon tower, but allows them to solo this camp, because it's a losing matchup, Falstad versus Blaze. For the Blaze, they clear the camp. And Gen.G is in a fantastic position here in the early game, which is arguably their toughest time.
Because they already know, they're planning ahead that hitting 10 for BlossoM is their favorite time. They're going to have the most burst, and they're going to come in as soon as that hit. As they hit 10, Gen.G, they know that as long as they hit 10 around the same time, or at least faster than BlossoM, they have all the tools to disengage. They have the guts, they will have all those safety tools, like the Sank or even the Palm from Karazim.
Meriday Hearthing home was at half mana. Looks like he wants to head up here with Maiev to look for potentially a counter pick in the top lane. Nope, they're going to go for the camp. Which leaves this rotation over here. The time it's going to take those three to clear this camp, Kyocha is going to have his pretty much finished because he started it earlier. Sake comes over for the assist. The one saving grace I think for BlossoM is if they can prevent Tist from getting Sanctification off, they can win fights. They can kill Hanzo if they are able to kill Tyrael first, then use Diablo when there's no peel. I think that's one way they could end up winning team fights and invades.
Yes, they do have lots of crowd control. A lot of crowd control available, so maybe they can get that cool timer activated for the Sanctification. But against the Hanzo, so Gen.G, they may never try to fight. They just try to win the objective, which is actually one of the strongest objectives in Heroes of the Storm, that Immortal would just push all the way. You don't even have to fight in this map.
So look at how this starts. Look at Rich's positioning. He has scatter arrow angles. If you stand in the way of the scatter arrow, you eat damage. If you don't stand in the way of the scatter arrow, Rich destroys the Immortal. So much damage comes through just from auto attacks here. They get the pulls. Pulls are good here. Tist is under fire. Very, very low. He's going to actually go down. He's going to be first blood here. And look at the Immortal health. They still are winning in that regard. So BlossoM needs more than just the kill on the Tyrael, who'll be up in 10 seconds. They need more. And Modern Life is trying to do this alone while they push everyone away. Preventing the Hanzo damage is key here. And if they can consistently do that, they will win this Immortal. It's going to take time. Tyrael's back up. He's headed back over. This is their moment. BlossoM needs to stay strong here as Rich is just chipping away.
Nara does do a lot of damage to the Immortal. So they go on defensive mode now. We said Flameless Fire 1v1 Modern solo. Sake does not finish him.
Meriday avoids that shot as well. Really good positioning from the former MVP Black player. Sake caught here, body blocked, gets away, but all this time buys enough time for them to finish the Immortal. A closer one than it would have looked to be otherwise because Tist was caught and killed, which again was one of the things I was talking about, especially this is going to be important post-10 to prevent the Sanctification. But Gen.G, they are able to take this lead. They've got the global. And one thing that BlossoM also has is now they've got the Nature's Culling, they have the ability to poke this back. You know, Gen.G doesn't have the greatest siege when Falstad is soaking top. And Lunara can burn this Immortal down pretty quick.
Pretty quick, but she's in range, so they have to get help from the teammates as Hanzo just finishes the quest already. And you could see Gen.G, they're really not trying to fight, they're just trying to push out, make sure they have some room, the time to burst down the Immortal. That's going to be the story of this game. Is BlossoM really going to let them have all the positioning away from the Immortal and still be safe? With all the CC they have, seems like they got the kill onto the Tyrael first, but they can't just work all the time. Unless they make a crazy move from a good flank from the side with Maiev just coming up with the cage, trapping down Hanzo. That will be the key.
Yeah, it was the tether that set that up last time by Gondar. So it's apt that you point this out, because without that, this would have been a totally different fight. This would have been a fully shielded Immortal, very likely for Gen.G. BlossoM needs picks, and they don't have a comp that's great at doing that. especially not pre-10. They were able to make it work regardless. Still lost the Immortal, but small victories are what they're looking for at this moment in time. Wiz, this is suicidal. He will simply die. This was... Perhaps they did not know that Kyocho was doing the camp there, but...
I think he was trying to calculate the healing from the fire.
Yeah, I'm not sure
that
what
actually
was
did
going
not
on there.
ignite with the Q for some reason. I guess he missed the oil there. I think he could have survived maybe with the sustain from the fire.
Yeah, I was looking at some stats when that fight started, so I don't know exactly why they rotated in that way, but it was just simply a mistake. Let's not harp on that too much. The respawn's good. He will be here in time for the Immortal phase. Gen.G still doesn't have 10. The camp at the top is frustrating, but not the deal breaker here. BlossoM certainly can make a super play with Gondar again as the Immortal spawn here, but every second that they spend on this while the Immortal is spawned is going to hurt. Luckily for BlossoM, this is their defensive side, so this is the toughest Immortal for Gen.G to race on because they have to invade. That's why they're soaking for 10. Still have Falstad in the top lane, Sonya pushing bottom. The camp advantage is going to push for 10 as they slowly approach this Gondar. He's got a small window here to make something happen.
Still clearing the camp at the bottom. Takes some time to get that down, and they're onto their own push. So Falstad has the global, so stop pushing. But Gen.G, they're happy. They're leading just by a little bit, unless they fall behind in the XP before 10. They're fine, because they have the range. Hanzo can be super far away with that scatter, but still hit the Immortal just by a little bit. Scratches after scratch, but over time, they will be winning the Immortal.
Now, at first glance, this may have looked like a palm comp, but it's simply not. It's a 7-sided, because you have Wiz and Honkono as two primary targets to burn down with a 7-sided. You have great CC on your side as well. With a spear, you have the ability to use Hanzo's arrow to set up a good isolation on these tanks that have already isolated themselves, not to mention the Gust. So 7-sided is going to be so phenomenal in this composition.
Look at the pressure from Gen.G. BlossoM seems like they're scared right now.
They should be. Here comes an attempted Warden's Cage. He could not get what he wanted.
And also, it is not Twilight Dream, this Tranquility, and with the Bunker and Lightning Breath, so it is not, I would say, it is not all in with the Maiev. They're trying to balance it out. Focus on
oh, look at that Gust into the 7-sided. So beautiful. Sank here as well. But it may not be enough. Rich goes down. It's going to be a trade. That Gust was such a good idea in concept, but in practice, it didn't get them what they wanted. See that the Whirlwind here for Kyocha is short-lived as well.
Is so much better for BlossoM, though.
Yeah, that's why they chose the Tranquility. And it looks like they will finally win a hard fight because Rich is dead. He's got the death timer this time. They're finally able to start winning this race. Gen.G's not done yet, though. Looking for another CC coming in. Modern Light's the target. He's blown up. Reset positioning. So fantastic. And BlossoM driven away again. Rich's respawn. And this may have just been a short-lived victory after all. Wiz gets out. Looking for a tether here. Reset. Will be able to get out just fine. He'll have his tailwind in just a moment. Halftime's over. When the dust settles, what looked like a pivotal moment for BlossoM was short-lived.
Because of the focus, because of the positioning, they were focusing on so well. Lunara up front, Spear. When the Poison Spear goes in, I mean, Lunara's already pretty much dead. With the help of his teammates, all the dashes from Karazim, the damage, you cannot underestimate Karazim's damage as well. So losing the Lunara was a big pain right there, just having everything turned around.
What's really cool about the Karazim pick is that you have the ability to support, you have the ability to do damage, but you have mobility more than anything else. You can get out, you can get in. Oh, look at this position by Wiz. He's trying to flank here.
Great
Rich over the wall, though. Lens, as you say.
Focus on 2, but this get the not really getting the Thunder of Sanctification. A little bit too early, I would say.
Yeah, it's just mostly to defeat the value, but again, the Gust
so late in with the 7.
She's done it so many times.
Beautifully done by
Gondar.
Gen.G. Oh my goodness.
The Warden's Cage is going to keep him alive, but this keep wall is forfeit. The Gust into the 7-sided, we mentioned it already, you and I were talking about this was not going to be a palm draft. Just so well done, so much synergy here. Reset, setting up the plays.
Condor goes low, super low, playing with fire. I mean, Gen.G, they are... Their synergy is actually crazy. It's just like the Sergeant Hammer game that played against Dignitas and the teams before. Just massive synergy, and they don't even communicate. I heard they just say, let's do it. And then they just somehow magically focus onto one.
And I know that's not a lie because I sat in front of them, you know, when I was on the analyst desk at Mid-Season Brawl. It was, especially in Stockholm, right next to the players. So during the games, you know, where I was watching the games, I was able to hear the comms of both teams. And Gen.G was often silent, often laughing maniacally, but that was about it. Communication on very simple things, Immortal now, or Camp now, or, you know, Sonya, focus Sonya. But for the most part, it's second nature to these players. Have been playing, all of them have been playing since the beta. All of them have been pros since 2015. They have been in this scene for the longest. They're still young. They have the most experience, the most titles, and the most recent title as well. 2 back-to-back World Championships into Mid-Season Brawl where they defended. So 3 back-to-back World Champions. Gold Series after BlizzCon, MSB, and it's their best map. They have the better draft. BlossoM is going to struggle here. They've had a few moments. They've been short-lived because they can't capitalize on them with the draft they've chosen. The Lunara pick is great in theory, but in actuality, it doesn't do much for you.
I don't think we can criticize onto Wiz too much. It is just what we call from soccer a set piece play from Gen.G, just having understanding of the experience, what they want to do together. And just pulling that off, Wiz cannot just have his own defense by himself. Merryday can only heal him so much.
Okay, this is Kyocha being aggressive, playing as if he's a main tank, but he is a Sonya.
But this comes just in time. Save his
teammate.
Oh,
look at the gust again! Reset! Makes the plays! Kyocha just damaging everyone here. Look at Rich! It's all over! It's a disaster! It's a tragedy! As Gen.G is just going to chase them. Reset with the flight! Honkono, he's dead! There's the kill on Blaze. Wiz is down.
Hey, teammate! Old teammate, ex-teammate. See you later.
See you later, the last to die here. Welcome back to HGC Korea. You were once a world champion with us. You took a break. You retired. Rich came back faster from his retirement. He's again a world champion. And Gen.G, they're going to take this keep. They're going to take the Immortal. Full shields. And BlossoM just has to look on and watch. There is no counterplay here. 3 levels down, and with it a talent tier. How does BlossoM hope to contest? Macro against them. Gust back up. Invading this would be suicide with the positioning of Gen.G now. They're just trying to encroach, trying to force Gen.G out of position. But Gen.G is already 1 step ahead.
Even worse with the macro control from Volstad and even the catapults that will be spawning from now on till forever, until this game is over. They can defend, but 3 levels away, down the talents, and Rich is just doing so much damage with the Hanzo now, even with the piercing.
Tis just giving him opportunities to do that damage. Going in.
There's no way to go in. It's a suicide mission.
They're able to eliminate.
Are they going to?
Oh god, here we go. This is going to be bad.
Gondar. Solo does escape, but leaving his teammate Honkono alone goes into bunker.
Tranquility timing again, good for Merryday. The ice block was good too, but the team is cut in half here by Kyocha. Reset looks for the Gust here for isolation, putting Wiz on the right side, Honkono on the left side. It's going to be a wipe here, 13 kills to 2. The 2 picks BlossoM had nearly gave them advantages and opportunities. The Immortal they got full shielded is irrelevant. They can ignore it and go for the core. Gondar as well, alone, can do nothing to stop them. He will die. He will be the last death in this game as Gen.G wins it in 15 minutes, 14 kills to 2. Merryday is back, Honkono is back, but Gen.G is still here, as strong as ever.
Sprays Dignitas saying that we have defeated them from MSB and we are the champions in this world. How dare you guys actually try to compete against us in Game 1?
How dare you pick BOE? How dare you pick BOE, give the Hanzo first pick, draft the Blaze, and then try to bring a Lunara into the final parts of the draft. The player who's never played Maiev, a player who's never played Diablo, a Modern who's probably played less than 5 games career on the Lunara, is what I say. How dare you, BlossoM? I expected better from this map pick. It was bold, it was brave, but the strategy wasn't there. If there was one, I don't know what it was, because they couldn't have been surprised by anything in the draft of Gen.G. It was as standard, as straight up as they've ever played it. With a Leeming ban from them, that was the only thing you could switch If you switch to Li Ming with the Falstad, that's the perfect Gen.G comp. They banned it themselves to deny it from BlossoM. But nothing they did was odd, nothing they did was weird, and yet BlossoM looked puzzled in the draft, and that's what I'm worried about for this series.
See, they had the final pick. They could have just, if it was going to be Lunara, regardless, I don't think they planned it before because they picked Maya before, because Maya should be like last pick material as a surprise. But they brought it up before the final 2 picks of Gen.G, which was also questioning, and they took so much time. It seemed like Lunara was just on the fly. And maybe it could have been just better with the Jaina. Jaina wasn't banned, not picked. So just going with the standard, what you could actually do. They didn't even go all in with the cage. They put Tranquility and Lightning Breath, of course, a better one than the Epoch right now. But maybe pairing up with an extra CC, zoning them out from the damage zone, could have been a better choice. But just having mix of everything that they wanted to do together. There was no theme. They couldn't really do the damage what they wanted to do in team fight. When Gen.G had everything together for themselves, having the Gus, 7-sided, having massive synergy with all the characters.
I mean, Lunara is fantastic at doing damage over time, and she's great against post-10 Karzim because everyone has to group in order to get the heals, and then she can do damage over time there. Karzim's heals on a decent cooldown, so not as long as like Uther's, for example. So not a direct counter in that way. But there were a lot of good ideas for Lunara, you know, to burn down the material, to prevent the sanctification so you could use the combo. But I feel like this draft like had some strong pieces, but, you know, like you talk about the chessboard, you know, you were talking about the set piece. You know, I feel like BlossoM just had, like, they replaced all their chess pieces with bishops, and they could only go sideways, but they could never really advance forward. Like, it was weird. Like, it was a draft that was clearly not planned, and it was clearly a flex draft. But you can't be picking BOE into the best BOE team in the world, proven for 3 years running, and just come in with like, well, we're gonna freestyle this
and let them take Hanzo.
Yeah, let's freestyle it. Not gonna happen. You will not win that way. Many Western teams and Chinese teams found out at Midseason Brawl that if you try that on this battleground, you will be destroyed. Here we are again. I feel like I have to keep saying it. I feel like I have to keep preaching. Ban BOE against Gen.G. It's the way to go. It's not rocket science here. So I was excited to see it was picked because I had higher expectations. When you pick this map, you come in with a plan. It's like you say you want to go to the pool, but you didn't bring your bathing suit. Like, what's going on? You can't swim without a bathing suit. I don't have a bathing suit, but let's go to the pool. I'm like, well, I mean, you could there's ways around it, but you know, you're gonna get some weird stairs. Maybe not gonna be ideal. Maybe your shorts are gonna be. You're gonna use your shorts instead. They're gonna be wet. It's like not what you wanted.
And lots of whistles, of course, always there.
But if you want to go to the pool, you bring a bathing suit.
I know. If you want to
they didn't bring the bathing suit.
It was certainly a weird one. Maybe they just got caught with the material, which wasn't really too expected from Gen.G to happen all of a sudden.
They ate soup, but they didn't have a spoon, G-Clef.
You can just still drink it out of the cup.
And they